Brokerage Services, LLC. And from Dataiku, a platform for everyday AI to help organizations make AI part of their daily business, designed to elevate people, teams, and companies. DATAIKU.com.
It's All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Daniel Estrin in Washington.
And I'm Elsa Chang in Los Angeles. Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues to transform the political landscape of Europe. It has largely unified the European Union, and in Finland, public support for joining NATO has skyrocketed, which means the country is now considering a bid to join the military alliance for protection from Russia. Today, the country's Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, said the government will make a decision soon.
I won't give any kind of timetable when we will make our decisions, but I think it will happen quite fast, within weeks, not within months.
Russia's foreign ministry warned of, quote, military and political consequences if Finland joins NATO. NPR's Frank Langford is following the story from London.
The Finnish government released a report today on the war's impact on the country's security. The report took no position on joining NATO, but officials said the invasion has increased threats to Finland, which shares an 830-mile border with Russia. Antti Kakkonen, Finland's Minister of Defense, spoke at a news conference.
The security situation in Europe and in Finland is more serious and more difficult to predict than it has been for
I just need to get to the next
Finland is not
exit,
facing an immediate military threat.
and I'm getting off.
But we must look to the future as well. Finland must be prepared for the use
Something's
of
going on at the
military
border,
force.
folks.
Pekka Haavisto, Finland's Minister
And
of
I
Foreign
don't mean
Affairs,
the
said
southern
Russia's invasion of Ukraine
border.
has shown Moscow's alarming willingness
I
to take
mean
big risks.
Canada.
capable
Yes,
of
Canada.
100,000 soldiers in one
Canada
spot in
has
this
slowed
country,
us
even
down
without
at the border.
mobilization of the reserves and so forth.
Canada.
This is a scary scenario, of course.
Yeah.
To Kakkonen, the defense
Oh,
minister, lessons for Finland are
Canada.
clear.
It is important to be ready and able to repel large-scale offensive operations on several simultaneous fronts.
The quickest way to ensure that is to join NATO. The military alliance is led by the U.S. and provides mutual protection for all 30
This sucks.
allies against attack. During the Cold War,
This really
Finland
sucks.
remained neutral to avoid Russia's wrath, and public support for joining NATO has always been low until now. Henry Van Hanen is
Yeah.
a foreign
Can we
policy
get off?
advisor for
That's the
Finland's
question.
National Coalition Party, which supports joining NATO.
We have seen spikes go up to about 20% of in favor of NATO.
Let's see what this does.
After the attack,
It ain't gonna do
on
dick,
the first
because all we're
call
doing is
NATO
getting on
came
here
out,
and
the
being
only
more
spike then
subject
we
to a
saw it jump
fucking
up to
fucking
50%
ticket.
in favor.
Have you ever
You
seen
see,
a change in
I
public
just wanna get
opinion
off.
on a foreign policy issue in Finland like this
No,
before?
absolutely not. This is very exceptional.
2 days ago, showed support at a staggering 68%.
It's disgusting.
What is your
But
sense
this the whole
of
lane
the
ain't no one using.
likelihood that Finland will apply to join NATO?
Very likely. I would say at this point 100% likely.
There's very strong support.
Yeah,
for Finnish
Huckleberry.
membership, but any bid could take months.
I'm
or
trying to
even
make it
years
to, like,
for all
one of my
30
three
allies to
jobs.
prove it. Finland worries that in the interim,
I just gotta get to the
Russia
next
will
exit, it
cyber
seems. These
attacks
people
or
are actually
troop
riding the
buildup on its
shoulder.
border.
I don't do
Prime
that.
Minister Haavisto
I just
says
kind of went
that's
around
where
a bunch of
Finland will need
people,
help.
which is something I don't do either, really.
It's important that NATO countries also understand the risks of that period.
But
and
Beetlejuice
do what
wonders
they
why I
can.
gotta leave so
Haavisto
early.
says that could include NATO
Hell yeah, we got
countries showing
Jersey
support by
Mikes.
doing joint military exercises.
And
for
we got
Finland.
Timmy Hortons.
Neighbor Sweden is also considering joining.
We
NATO,
got it
although
all.
It's not as far along in the process. When Russian President Vladimir Putin sent troops into Ukraine,
I can't
he said
complain.
it was in part
Yeah,
to
that guy
prevent
wants
the
to
country
play,
from joining NATO. It now seems
really
increasingly
play.
likely that his actions will lead to the alliance's expansion. Frank Langford, NPR News,
I
London.
mean, I ain't looking
It's the
to
Islamic holy month of
play
Ramadan,
that
where
hard.
faithful around the world abstain from eating or drinking between dawn and sunset. Each
Look,
day's fast is usually
We
followed
got an
by a
hour and 20
feast.
minutes.
In the southern Indian city of Hyderabad, one delicacy in particular has become a cherished Ramadan tradition. It's called Halim, and it's not just for Muslims. Sushmita Pathak recently got the chance to see how it's made.
The Royal Hyatt Convention Center in Hyderabad usually hosts wedding receptions. Nowadays, it's a kitchen for...
Yeah, I heard him on there with
Hyderabad's
Nelson,
top
Jesse.
restaurants. When I visit one afternoon during the first week of Ramadan, preparations are in full swing for that day's Halim. A big grinder crushes cardamom pods. A few feet away, men peel a mountain of onions. Meanwhile, the star of the Halim, the goat,
Right, like those
has
two
been
words,
cooking for
computer
nearly
chick,
8
barely
hours.
fit together.
Started at night, 4 o'clock, so the mutton comes.
Muhammad Modis Ali walks me through the process. His family owns Pista House. He leads me to an open space where some 20 furnaces are blazing.
The halim takes 11 hours to cook, so it's very easy to eat, but it's very hard to cook, and you cannot stand in the kitchen like it. It's a lot of smoke.
And it's so hot here, you can, my eyes are watering.
After the meat becomes tender, a mixture of dals or lentils and coarsely ground wheat is added to it. Then come the spices.
So this is the mix of masalas, spices that will ultimately go into the halim.
इसमें साजरा है, दालचीनी है, इलायची है, काली मिर्ची है, काब चीनी है, जीरा है.
Cumin, cinnamon, cardamom, black pepper, rose petals. This is followed by the most physically challenging part of the recipe.
We smash the halim with wood sticks for around 20 minutes or 25 minutes.
That's what they're doing right now.
Two cooks pound the meaty mixture with long wooden hammers. It gives the halim a soft, smooth texture. But it's a real workout. A workout that city historian Sajjad Shahid remembers from his childhood, when his family used to make halim at home every Ramadan. It was only in the 1980s or 90s that the dish became commercialized, he says.
But not exactly halim, it was called haris.
Shahid
So now
says
this
haris
lady
was
behind
brought
us,
to India
guys.
many centuries ago by the Arabs.
And this
who
white
were
truck's
employed by
blocking the
Indian kings and
blocking the
sultans
shoulder,
as
Jesse.
mercenaries.
The person
What's up, Carlos? See her? She's blocking the shoulder.
used to be mostly Arabs.
Yup.
You had huge populations of Arabs.
There were entire armies.
Look, I got all that room if I wanted to pull up. She couldn't do nothing.
This was their meal of choice.
All right, thanks, Carlos.
Not too complicated.
See, she's blocking people from getting up there.
Shahid recalls a
They do that sometimes.
where the poet
Yup,
describes the
she
way-
right there,
the vessel in which Halim is
holding up people.
This is the
See, but I'm in the position where I can pull up anytime I want.
years of elephants.
Over the years,
So they closed down the bridge.
Today, Hyderabad
They've caused over an hour backup.
Beshak Damodar says he eats
So no matter, well, they closed down Canada. So no matter if you're going all the way up 94,
at the roadside
or
stall,
you're gonna go right here to Windsor, you're fucked. You're screwed right
some
now.
Hindus don't eat meat, and in recent years, meat has
Yeah.
become a point of tension between Hindus and Muslims. Damodar says that's
I just gotta make it to,
It's a feel-good factor. You just come, you eat, go. Food brings a lot of people together. That's what I can say.
For NPR News, I'm Sushmita Pathak in Hyderabad, India.
this is crazy. Yeah, there's a trucker up here now. He's up there at an angle. He's getting ready to block the lane now if he has to also. I got up to here fucking driving on the side there for a minute, but I don't normally do that. I really was actually in a lane. I was actually in a lane. I haven't really drove on the shoulder.
U.S. auto sales are down this year.
Don't plan on it either.
Alex McLennan and
I do plan on getting off when I get up here.
Join us for that story and more tomorrow on Morning Edition from 5 to 9 on 101.9 WDET.
WDET is supported by Urbanum, a curated home store featuring a variety of kitchen and bar accessories and more. Located on Woodward in New Center, check doors from Fern Boutique, The Kitchen, and Sapino's Pizzeria. More at
Sapino's
urbanumdetroit.com.
Pizzeria.
Good afternoon. It's 4:44. I'm Eli Newman in for Ross McNamara.
What's up, Eli?
Such as DTE Energy here in Michigan.
Sup?
PG and
Hey, where's Coach at?
Determine how energy is distributed and how much they charge their customers. But in some areas, nonprofit cooperatives and municipal-run utilities provide service. The cities of Lansing and Wyandotte provide power to their residents, and Highland Park was talking about it. Johanna Bozuba is the executive director of the Climate and Community Project. She spoke with WDET's Stephen Henderson about the impact of COVID has had on discussions about utility ownership.
let's talk about why our utilities, some of them at least, are under for-profit models and not under public control. Why are things like heat, water, and electricity not made public goods everywhere in the country?
Oh man, well that's a really good question, and it really depends on the type of utility. Water, for instance, 88% of our water systems in the United States are held publicly. But if you put that in contrast with electricity, only 28% of our electric utilities are either publicly owned or cooperatively owned. And that has a lot to do with when these utilities started to show up. Water utilities and sewage systems had already.
This is crazy because I heard it on the radio, literally, and they said, yeah, there's an hour backup into Canada, no matter if it's 94 or Windsor. And then, bam, I come around the bend on the highway, and people were brake checking like crazy. And I'm like, look at this, I can't believe this.
The electricity provision in the towns. But when we started to see that push back was when they started to extort ratepayers in a lot of ways, and people started to realize that this was really crucial to their daily lives.
I don't know, but his days are numbered.
Part of the fabric of
Yep, we know that, guys. We know that to be a fact.
New Deal, that was when we started to see communities fight back against.
This is really going to affect us today at work.
Taking their money and saying, hey,
People ain't going to be able to get in
we should actually have ownership over these,
on time
these assets, over these fires.
because they don't leave early like, yeah, man.
That's why in the New Deal, actually,
Yep.
FDR,
It's exactly what's going to happen.
that also helped to bring to so much.
This is crazy.
Private utilities would
Where's
not
Beetlejuice? She was giving me a hard time today. You leave too early. You leave too early. You go talk to all your idiot friends.
Desperate.
You know? You just leave too early. You want to go talk to a bunch of bozos.
Utilities.
Yup.
Are there more places that are thinking about?
You know where you can stick that YouTube?
Public control.
You know where you can stick it?
And other measures that we took during the pandemic to protect them.
This has really entered into people's consciousness.
You can turn that son bitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass. Well, maybe I'm just exaggerating. I don't know.
I think there was some reporting by the Center for Biological.
Those, the people that don't comment, maybe. I don't know.
Cut nearly 1 million times between
Yep.
July 2020 and 2021, and that they were receiving over $1.25 billion.
Yeah, I got problems, guys. I'm gonna need all the help you guys can give me. I'm gonna be daddying for 4 or 5 days, and we got to blow dry hair, and we got pictures, and I don't know what to do.
I'll pull out for you are
I don't know.
the state of Maine. There is a campaign right now that is gaining
I don't
substantial
know.
bipartisan traction to take over.
Yep. So I'm gonna put the word out there in local
There's ongoing
subscribers. You know,
legislation and a ballot
my Michigan crew, my Trenton crew.
and similarly, we're looking in New York State already
Yup.
has a public utility there called the New York Power.
I was thinking of getting her hair done the night before and then letting her stay up all night
To provide energy for
and sending her to school with her hair done from the day before.
Similarly, to kick out the investor-owned utility.
I mean, I figured that would work great.
Lozua is the executive
Why wouldn't it?
director of the Climate and Community Project.
You know,
She spoke with WTOP
give her a large
Steve
double-double
Anderson on Detroit today.
with a double shot of espresso from Timmy's,
Forecast today, mostly cloudy skies.
or
with
get her a
showers
hot
and
cocoa
thunderstorms
with
this
some
afternoon.
espresso.
And tonight will be highs in the low 70s. Today, getting down to in the upper.
I mean, that's what I was shooting for.
Tomorrow, there will be
You know,
showers
just
early
keep her up
and
all
sunny,
night.
Breezy and cooler with highs in the upper 50s. There's a wind advisory. with
This
gusts
is nuts. I ain't even gotten the
right now, 65 degrees.
outer drive from
This is what comes
Southfield.
considered From NPR News, I'm Daniel Western.
And I'm Elsa Chang. If you're traveling anywhere,
There's this guy behind me. Was being an ass.
you need to wear a mask. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has yet
Cutting
again
people
stated
off.
the requirement for wearing masks in public transportation. It was
This is what it is. I mean, I'll get there in a minute here, but we're cutting this close. Check out this platinum, Jesse Scott. Look at that.
Right, so this mask order, I mean, it's nothing new, right? Like,
That was a platinum tone. I like how it sits nice and level.
It's been around for a while. It was put in
Yep,
place last
that's the
February.
truck I like.
It's been in place for
You
about
know,
a
nice
year,
and level
the point of the order
and
is to
low.
really get people to cover their
Even
nose
though it's a heavy duty 350, it's low.
virus.
Should be.
The order
It
comes
looked like a
from
350. I think
CDC
it
and gets
was.
enforced by the Transportation Security Administration or the TSA, and
Uh-huh.
the planes, trains.
Oh, is that who is that?
Like metro stations and airports. It also applies to taxis and ride shares. Now, in the past, it's been set to expire a few times, but it keeps getting
Oh, it's like the bell tire man in front of me. He got his little bell tire sticker in the window.
Okay, I get that, but I mean,
Bell tire.
things have been much calmer with the coronavirus, right? Like, what is the situation with COVID right now?
Well, generally speaking, the country's doing okay. Dr. Ashish Jha, the new White House coronavirus coordinator, told NPR this week that the U.S. is in a good moment and infection numbers are pretty low.
Yeah, this is real.
People in the hospital.
What
right
the
now
hell
at
is
any
that?
Point in the pandemic, we're in a very different moment than where we were a couple of years ago.
Storm chaser, maybe? Jesus.
Necessarily meant people were at potentially very high risk of having bad outcomes.
This is
We've got
nuts.
30,000 new cases a day, which is way
15, 16 minutes, guys. I was sitting longer than that before I started
Cases
this.
have gone up by more than 20%. It's driven by the
Yup.
newest
And I got ahead, but
BA2, and it's
guess I just should have stayed in that left lane, kept going, and then once it backed up, cut on over at an exit. I mean, I don't know.
Still, there hasn't been much of an uptick in
I've seen it so bad, guys.
They're assessing
Something happened
could lead to a big
where the tractor trailers were just blocking the right lane
keep the mask order in place
all
until May 3rd.
Okay. Caution makes
all the
sense.
way,
What response has this CDC decision been getting?
all the way to the
For this
bridge
decision, the mask mandate is getting pushed
entrance,
back from
which
some
was
members of Congress
nuts.
and the travel industry. Last month, Republican senators
This is-
voted to
this
overturn
is
it, and
nuts.
a few days ago, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and others asked the White House to lift it, saying that the burden of enforcement has fallen on people like airline employees who have to deal with really frustrated customers. It's not just businesses that take issue with the mask requirement. Dr. Monica Gandhi,
Tell me about it, Larry.
at UC San Francisco, says the policy conflicts with other mask.
Larry, you're in the area. Let's go for some Coney dogs.
Really not consistent.
Piss Rich life off.
Mandate on a plane, or
Aren't you one of his fan club members?
so I think the inconsistency
You know what I mean.
perceived as problematic.
But the mask order definitely has some support. James Hodge is a public law professor at Arizona State University.
I'm gonna give you dying and styling.
It is responsible. It's reflective of what they're saying the public has
Yup.
changed.
He says that the CDC is making policies based on epidemiology and that extending
That's
the
right.
mask order for just 2 weeks makes sense. It's long enough to show that the CDC is watching the situation carefully.
That is NPR's Ping One. Thank you, Ping.
Thanks, Elsa.
Richard Moore has an excruciating choice to make. The state of South Carolina is set to execute him for murder on April 29th.
Well,
Between the electric chair or the state's newest option, a firing squad made up of 3 shooters. And South Carolina isn't alone. 3 other states in the U.S. have adopted firing squads. Richard Moore is seeking an injunction that would halt his execution, but his case has reignited conversations around execution methods in the U.S. Maurice Chama has been reporting on the death penalty for the Marshall Project, and Maurice joins us now. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we should warn that our conversation will include descriptions of execution.
well, thank goodness I stopped and got a
Can you
coffee.
just lay out the history behind the
This
use
is
of firing
crazy.
squads in the U.S.?
Sure, it was extremely common, before we were a country. It continued to be used in kind of a military context during the Civil War. But in the 20th century, we really abandoned the firing squad. There was one execution in 1913 in Nevada. And then since then, there have been just a handful, and they have all been in Utah for reasons that have to do with Mormon theology and ideas about blood being shed.
Why has the U.S. avoided executions by firing squad for so long?
There's no one simple answer. It kind of taps into some really deep cultural questions and the kind of what I think are sort of core contradictions at the heart of American capital punishment. We as a country want the death penalty, but over and over again we've shown that we don't want it to be bloody or violence. You know, we embrace lethal injection, which has the appearance of a medical procedure, even though there have been many times where prisoners have shown.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Convulsed on the
It's
journey.
coming soon.
Utah
Depends on what time it is.
execution method in place for a
With
while.
the guy right
Mississippi,
behind me though,
and then most recently South Carolina.
waiting
have
for him to
adopted
like
firing
pull out
squads.
again. This guy just set his brakes next to me
To adopt
in this
firing
big
squads.
rig.
Lethal
This is
injection
crazy,
has been
people.
the dominant form of execution over the last few decades, but at a certain point, pharmaceutical companies started to say, we don't want
Oh,
to
yeah.
to execute people, and that made it hard.
Somebody
to
just cut out in
fire
front of him.
drugs. And so they started.
Telling you, it was going good at first.
And the firing squad.
Then all of a sudden, you know.
The legislators have called with-
See, I kept pulling up because I kept using the on lanes.
prisoners in at least
I was like, screw this.
said that they actually
I watched a
prefer
few people
firing
getting
squads
on, just kept going up
lethal injection. Why is
up
that?
the on lane. So I was like, screw it, I'll go that way too.
For the most part,
But then there was no more on lanes.
they are just
So I was like, okay.
said to the prisoners, in effect, you have to propose an alternative. But all that said, multiple prisoners argued that lethal injection, as it's currently practiced, is
Yep.
unusual.
See, look,
The
look,
alternative
look.
prefers the firing
Look at,
squad,
look at, look at, look
which
at,
is known to be
look at my rear view mirror.
and relatively
She in the, right next to us. See that?
The question of
She pulled over again.
humane way to shoot someone to death. I mean, you've spoken to experts about
She pulled over again, stopping them to run up the side.
squad. What do
So if I was gonna do that, I'm the first one.
question?
I could go.
down to whether you think there's a humane way to kill anyone, period. You know,
But then there's a big truck up ahead that's doing the same thing.
Williams. And he made this point that really
Yep.
you know, made me sit up when he said, well,
So,
in some countries, it's even
We're
more
just waiting.
painless in that they basically take a gun to the back of someone's head and shoot them, and they are dead before they even know it, quite literally. And that
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get off it out and drive, but
we hear that or imagine that, it's
if I try to run up the shoulder right now, these big trucks are cutting up front in here, about 10 cars up,
that Americans have when we support the
sitting at an angle.
but when confronted with some of the most efficient and effective ways to carry it out, it also makes us recoil and sort of raises up our own ambivalence around whether we actually want to be executing prisoners.
Yeah, and death by firing squad probably raises that question very clearly. Maurice Chama is the author of Let the Lord Sort Them, The Rise and Fall of the Death Penalty.
I don't drive on the
And he's
shoulder.
reporting on executions for the Marshall.
Because what happens when you pass the police officer that's in the right lane?
You're listening to
He
all
pulls
things
out behind you
NPR News.
and pulls you over. The reason that person behind me and these people are in the shoulder is because they're blocking people in the shoulder, Beetlejuice.
Planning, training, executive
I know you don't drive like that. You're going to be the one blowing up the shoulder.
at Parker Municipal.
I know that. I don't.
This is the
I don't do that.
Association of Broadcasters. Station
I'm just in the right lane trying to get off. But the person directly behind me is literally cutting out in front of people.
WDET is currently experiencing technical difficulties. We apologize. And are
No, but if I go
restoring-
pulling out into the shoulder, I get 10 cars up here. There's a big rig that's cutting in front of people. Like the guy that's behind me, cutting in front of people. He's pulled into the shoulder with people lined up behind him now.
WDET-FM, Detroit's NPR.
Yeah, I don't have any
Your
tickets.
connection to news, music, and
I had,
conversation.
we ain't even talking about that because I've never had a
Thanks for joining us.
driving record problem. I've never been suspended. I've never been.
Traffic.
Did take my buddy Citron to court with me though. Now look at this guy, guys. See, he's over the lane, moved over towards me. The whole road is shifted because of these people running up the shoulder.
An accident on Southfield Freeway southbound at Grand River. That's an accident that's leaving stop and go traffic from 7 Mile. That was reported by the Michigan Department of Transportation. Taking a look at the area forecast today, mostly cloudy skies. The showers and thunderstorms this afternoon heading into
I don't do that shit. That's Detroit.
Tomorrow
That's
will be
Detroit
showers
shit.
Earlier in the day, then sunny.
They do that in Detroit.
Highs in the upper 50s.
I was leaving Autorama with Foo and they did that to us. These people ran a red light right next to us. Never even stopped. Just blew right by us. It was like, what the heck?
The administration
Now we're
prepares to
moving at
send more
least.
weapons and other military equipment to Ukraine.
The additional aid will amount to about $800 million, which will help.
It's like we're
Ukraine
waiting on
purchase
traffic
artillery
light.
systems and
But yeah, here's the exit
For
finally.
Wednesday, April 13th. This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Elsa Chang.
And I'm Daniel Estrin. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused ripple effects along Russia's border.
Look at them, all lined up, guys. This ain't the first time I've seen this.
Open door, cross-border, free trade relation
You know,
with Russia.
it ain't even worth it.
Also, we'll explore
At least
the
we're getting
engines that
off.
drive Native American economies and misperceptions
I wonder if
about
there's
how
cops down here, like, you know,
stories in the news media for the
waiting
last
for
20 years
people that
about
have been riding the
50%,
shoulder.
80%
No, I'm kidding.
unemployment on reservations. And it turns out the actual measure is about 37%.
Those stories
We knew something was waiting to happen. Now, ain't this the one that when you get off, it's like you're in a neighborhood or something?
Jack Spear. We got him. New York City Mayor Eric Adams confirming at a news conference today authorities had taken into custody the man accused of shooting 10 people aboard a Brooklyn subway yesterday. Authorities are charging 62-year-old Frank R. James with a federal...
Oh, yeah, it does. I think I gotta make the left.
Tool says it was a team effort.
I want to commend all of the investigators and analysts who took part in this all-hands-on-deck investigation. Literally, hundreds of NYPD detectives worked doggedly during the last 30 hours to bring this together. They did so in tandem with a vast number of our law enforcement partners.
Authorities say James was taken into custody in Manhattan's East Village neighborhood. He's
I don't know, tickets.
33 rounds.
When I grew up in Jersey, they used to have a point system. It was crazy. I never had a single point.
Any terror group
It's crazy.
of violent attacks on mass transit systems. President Biden
This is where they get you for running the stop sign. Yup.
Security assistance
Yup.
for Ukraine. As
Yup.
reports it comes as Russia seems to be regrouping and refocusing its war efforts on the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine.
In a statement, President Biden says this aid will include additional weapon systems that have
Alright.
already proven effective in the conflict and, quote,
Right turn only, Clyde.
tailored to the wider assault we expect Russia to launch in eastern Ukraine. That includes artillery systems, artillery rounds, and armored personnel carriers. The president said he's also approved the transfer of additional helicopters. To date, the U.S. has already sent over $2 billion worth of military assistance to Ukraine since Biden took office. Asma Khalid, NPR News, the White House.
Gun owners in Georgia can now carry a concealed firearm without a permit. Governor Brian Kemp signing the state's Constitutional Carry Act yesterday. Member station WABE in Atlanta, Christopher Alston has more.
Governor Kemp signed the bill at a sporting goods store west of Atlanta, where he said he previously purchased a handgun for one of his daughters.
SB 319 makes sure that law-abiding Georgians, including our daughters and your family too, can protect themselves without having to have permission from your state government. The Constitution of the United States gives us that right, not the government.
Kemp campaigned on
That's right.
this carry when he ran for governor.
Absolutely right. Not the
He
government.
doesn't have the votes until this year, when he's also facing a Republican primary challenge. The new law doesn't change where a gun can and
And if you're a felon, then you're not allowed to have a gun.
For NPR News, I'm Christopher Alston in Atlanta.
If you're in prison, you're not allowed to vote.
Inflation gauge seems to be echoing, if not
Woo! Wow, guys, can you believe that? Half-hour backup. Or more, depending on how far you want to go and stay on that highway.
0.2% year over year. On Wall Street today, the Dow
There's a big sign that says no turns. With a big left, no turns. Gotta do the Michigan U-turn here. This is no turns. What are you talking about?
Their cloud-native platform.
So you're saying instead of getting on Ford Street and doing the thing, I should have went across and did it. What difference does it really make? Tomatoes, tomatoes.
CrowdStrike.com/NPR.
Oh God.
Traffic reports made
Oh. Look it. Here we go. Yup, look at this. Oh, I went into Lincoln Park for a minute, south. Oh, geez, went the wrong direction for a split second.
Before fatally shooting him in the head while the man was face down on the ground.
Look at this, guys. This is all because of the backup. It ain't never this busy.
Traffic stop. Key footage came from
Yeah, hammer down, potato.
trying to run and a violent
Yeah.
over the officer's taser.
Yeah.
The new police chief in Grand Rapids
Rapids since they released the videos in the spirit of transparency. State police are
Potato. Blah, 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 blah.
for shock and anger by the public. A state house committee adopted bills yesterday requiring that funds from the opioid settlement pharmaceutical companies should be used to address addiction. Representative Grant Miller chairs the House Judiciary.
Man, Jesse, why would I want to do that?
The National Tobacco Industry Settlement. That deal was supposed to help states recoup the Medicaid costs of treating people with tobacco-related illnesses. But Michigan used much of the money for things other than healthcare. That included business incentives and scholarships.
And I assume that's trying to be done here.
I need a junker, Jesse. I need a junker to take to the crash up Derby, but I wouldn't want to drive it though. I'd get hurt.
Attorney General Dina Nessel showed up to register.
I don't need whiplash.
The committee adopted 2 bills with bipartisan support. The legislation now goes to the floor of the state house. There are a couple of accidents on the roadways on I-696 eastbound at Van Dyke.
That was wild. 5 o'clock, guys. 5:06. So if they go 10-7, they're all getting out in 6 minutes. So that's pretty good. That parking lot is very interesting. These people don't want to come to work till it's almost time. I like it that way, and I get my good parking. A lot of Detroit dealers. Look at all this traffic. Look at the traffic on the left, guys. That's all because of the backup. Yep. I know, guys. I know that's what it's from, guys. Don't tell me I don't know what it's from.
Armored personnel carriers and
what do you mean I'm
it
stupid?
could dramatically increase Ukraine's ability to withstand the Russian onslaught in the next phase of the war. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby joins me now to talk more about the package and what it could mean for Ukraine. Mr. Kirby, welcome back to All Things Considered.
Thank you.
Well, that sucks, Jesse. I feel that way sometimes with my lower back. When I sit on a high-low with a jacked up seat. In all seriousness, no bullshit.
When might that happen and
It can give me sciatica immediately. Light it up. And then I'll get on a high-low with a very good seat. And it's all gone. And I've even learned how to use the back of the seat and let it actually support my spine, even though I don't like it. I feel like I always want to sit and lean back, but you can't. I can't see to drive. Not I can drive like that, but I can't see to lift things because I gotta look down at the forks. So I find myself. Hey, look at. They even got the highway blocked, guys. See? Yup. Isn't that crazy? And if you look up on the right over here, you're gonna see, oh, look at this. Look at this, guys. If I had time to stop, they got wreckers and everything right here. Big accident on the right, guys. Right there. Wow. Wow, okay. Well, that explains it. There's a big accident right before the bridge, guys. Okay. And they're having back delays, so wow, that's something. That's crazy. And they're backed up on this side because you got, rubberneckers. They got to look. Yup. Wow. Who knew we'd see that? Man, look at all these people. This is crazy. Let me get in my left lane now. Because we're going to go over here and cross straight across. And, smooth roads. That was crazy. Well, I wish I had more time. We could have stopped and I would have gotten out and, But I don't do that, guys. I go straight to work because I want to make sure I get there. And, another reason why I leave early is I could get a blowout. I could break down. I could need a tow truck. And I could actually probably break down, get a tow truck, and have Beetlejuice come pick me up in time to make it to work on time. Look at that guy. He just cut right over. This guy next to me, he thought he was going somewhere too. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my sweet ass time because I'm going straight, guys. Everybody on this road is heading to 4th Street, if you notice. The entrance is right up here. 5-0 was on the right there. He was parked. Got the broke down truck. No, maybe not. He's right on the line. Oh God, yeah, he's all smashed up.
From airstrikes and missile strikes. And you're right, they are flying most of their missions, the manned missions. They are not venturing inside Ukrainian airspace because they know the Ukrainians have a sophisticated and nimble air defense capability.
Oh, these guys are
Zelensky
all
has been asking for more sophisticated weaponry since the very beginning of this war. Why didn't you give it to them earlier?
We have been in constant conversation about their needs, and the package that you see today is an output of those conversations in just the last few days, talking to the Ukrainians about this fight in the Donbass and what they can really use. We have tailored each package to what we think they're going to need the most, and that conversation will continue going forward.
Now, this is a huge package. Are you concerned Russia can see all this weaponry as an escalation?
There's not a day that we don't think about escalation management as we should. It's the responsible thing to do here at the Defense Department. But we also have a concomitant requirement and responsibility to help Ukraine defend itself against the kind of...
Yeah, I'm surprised. It should be all over. Yeah, right on the bridge. Yep.
That's the prerogative, that's the priority. And we can't predict perfectly how the supporters are going to interpret these systems.
That's cool trains. Anybody's into some trains?
How quickly were you getting these weapons?
Now, look, I can't tell you that.
All that graffiti.
In the air, but it won't take long. In the past, in the last couple of packages that the president has signed, we've been able to go the day he authorizes it to actually in the hands of Ukrainian fighters.
They do have a new, I don't know if it's out right now, if it's up here, but got the red, white, blue stacks. And I don't know, I don't see it right now. They got a brand new engine.
They are not that complicated.
Yeah.
The Ukrainians know how to use artillery of their own, so we think we can begin doing some training of the trainers in a very short period of time, and that will obviously probably take place outside Ukraine.
John Kirby, Pentagon Press Secretary.
12 after.
My pleasure, thank you.
Now look at this, beautiful, fresh paved. They're spending some money. We're getting Miller Road next, guys. I'm going to make a video and do a before and after for Miller Road. It's going to take some time. But I hope they pave it like this. I love pavement. I hate these concrete roads like we're about to transfer onto right here. Yeah, I despise this stuff. I prefer blacktop. You know? Even though, you know, it is what it is.
And look, it's an endangered species. It's in decline. And the reason I bring it up is because in 2006 there was this proposed wind farm in Ohio, 70 wind turbines. This big project. Local neighbors didn't like the idea of these towering turbines being so close to their land, and they sued the wind turbine company for all kinds of things. But one particular complaint stuck. They said that the turbines might hurt the bats. About 5 of these bats might die every year after colliding with the turbines, and after years of legal fighting and courtrooms all around the country, the wind farm company eventually gave up. The project was abandoned in 2019, and that is great for the Indiana bat, but not so good for wildlife in other parts of the world threatened by climate change.
More traffic, look at
It
this.
hits the economy from more floods and droughts.
Look at this.
There's a long list of challenges to wind and solar power facilities.
J.B. Rule is a law professor at Vanderbilt University. J.B. says we've created all kinds of laws and regulations that allow people to challenge big projects like train stations, solar farms, and wind farms, and that includes environmental rules. And that's great for getting local input and efforts from communities, local landscapes, endangered species. But given the urgency of climate with another law professor, James Saltzman, and they did what law professors do best. Right.
Thank you for the 8 thumbs up. Helps with the algorithm, guys. Appreciate that. Share it out.
Renewable energy projects to get built.
Thank you,
is in
guys.
Texas. The state built a
We're almost there.
for renewable energy permitting. And the key difference with this new direction here is that Texas overrode local laws that might block the projects, including environmental laws.
It was an amazingly efficient process for getting that infrastructure on the ground. Not controversy.
JB says the federal government could take a similar approach. After all, he says it does have the power to kind of make exceptions for particular projects so they don't have to comply with every single
Well,
regulation.
we got lucky. We pulled right up. Then it was green. Now it's yellow. Keep it moving.
But if you talk to environmental groups like the Nature Conservancy, they're not advocating for a large rewrite of laws. For one thing, that could be
Where are we gonna sit today, guys?
to strip away environmental protections completely. Instead, they want changes like a faster pathway for green projects or improving initial site selection to avoid sensitive areas in the first place. Also, more federal funds to speed up decision making.
So as this sort of nip and tuck, tweak it here, tweak it there version of environmental reform is going on, J.B. Rule, the law professor, he is seeing ice shelves break off in Antarctica, right? He's seeing historic heat waves and carbon emissions grow and grow, and he is worried that this is all going to be too little, too late.
Given the scale of the challenge ahead, do you feel optimistic?
I'm growing more pessimistic over time. I don't. I think we're continuing to fall behind.
Earlier this month, the UN issued another report that backed up JB's view, but it did say there's still time to change course. Adrian Ma, Darian Woods, NPR News.
Support for Planet Money comes from WorkData,
really?
committed to helping organizations adapt to change, using real-time data to uncover insights.
But I still see them spots.
And prepare for whatever.
There's one right down
The
here.
finance, HR, and planning system for
here.
a changing world.
Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. Oh, it's the wrong direction.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
WDET is supported by the College of Business Administration at University of Detroit Mercy, offering a new master's degree in ethical leadership focused on sustainable, ethical, and inclusive problem solving.
Ain't that a view? We got some time, guys.
Doesn't feel like it's
Not a lot of time, but a little bit of time. We drank one. I got 2 large today.
Began at the very beginning of the United States, and through today with a real vengeance.
I'm Caroline Risdell, history and your privacy. Next time.
Marketplace, this evening at 6 on 1019 WDET.
Good evening. I'm Eli Newman in for Russ McNamara. You're listening to 1019 WDET during All Things Considered. Coming up next, the changed relations between Putin's Russia and Europe are having ripple effects along Russia's border with the EU, including in a town that had prided itself on good relations with Russia.
Russia, Russia, Russia. It's like Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Festival president and
Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
State music professor Chris
Putin,
Collins,
Putin,
Dr.
Putin.
Dwight Adams, a member of Stevie Wonder's band, and Leslie DeShazer performed songs from her
Yep.
debut album.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Friday at 9 p.m.
Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Taking a look at the
That's all I hear, guys.
mostly cloudy sky.
You know, when they talk about it, when they, oh, holy shit.
In the upper 40s.
Damn. Somebody likes me today. Guys, I didn't pull the muscle. Yeah.
Right now in Detroit, over 65 degrees, that's 18 degrees Celsius for our listeners.
buy one of them goddamn plates next.
Comes from this station. And from Fidelity Wealth Management, working to help create a comprehensive plan for a client's full financial picture.
Hey Barb, how are ya?
Investment minimums apply.
How you guys doing?
Services LLC.
Jesse Scott's Lake Jersey Mike's. Yeah, baby.
On providing organizations
Rich Life, where's yours?
continuously plan for all what-if scenarios.
Yo, bro.
The finances
You can't afford a $20 sandwich every day?
And from the Lemelson Foundation.
Why not?
From NPR News, this is all.
Why don't you explain that?
And
You got money though.
February 24th.
You got money to go drive that RV. I can drive my RV wherever I want, and y'all gotta go to work. Where's your $20 sandwich, buddy? We had cheesesteak yesterday. Oh, the day before? But I eat once. Sick guys, eat once. You know? But man, they did me up good this time. Yep. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Yep. We got a super this time. If Rich Life can read the menu. Yep. With a little mayonnaise. Should I wear a bib for you guys and give something to trolls to talk about? Yeah, man. Took a napkin and tucked it in. I'm telling you, it's raining, so you get to see these people walking in. It's funny. Yep. Umbrellas, sports teams. You had the value meal? You sure you don't mean the family meal? That feeds a family of 4? And he sat there and ate the whole goddamn thing? Excuse me. He laid there? Let's see. Yeah, man eats 7 sandwiches. We'll have to ask Monkey Boy if they have one of those places in Vegas. Then maybe you, Coachisms, and I, we can all fly there. Meet up with Monkey Boy. Go have I think it's the 96er. That's what it's called. It's a 96 ounce. That's what John Candy ate in the great, or that movie. You know, that thing. Mm-hmm. You guys want to... It's getting busy. Look at... getting busy. Lots of people. Oh boy. Yeah, I show that video to people a lot, Jesse. They can't believe it. Yep. That's right, guys. Check it out. Yeah, you can't have an MRI, can you? MRI, pull that fucker out of your back. The magnets, right? All right. Oh, poor fucking John. He can't get in. Oh, man. What do y'all got going on? Knows one thing I had a this that were questionable when they would need attention. It made 11 years and now it's 10.
Hamilton Hills hosting a virtual open house on Monday, April 25th from 5 to 7.
Yeah, Jesse, you and I got similar situation and it sounds like.
Southfield Freeway South.
Yours is upper spinal cord, mine's the lower spinal cord.
Traffic from 8 Mile onwards.
And I don't talk about it much because it's not that big of a deal anymore. But I had L5S1 at 23, which is normal sciatica for the elderly, you know. Oh, my back, oh, he's got pain. You know, you see them guys all hunched over, can't stand fucking up straight, that kind of shit.
65 degrees and overcast skies.
But I don't play it like that.
Live from NPR News.
So,
Janine Herbst.
but then I ruptured
Crowded rush hour subway train
3-4,
that left more than 20
ruptured.
injured, 10 of them shot. All are expected to survive.
Had surgery at 26, so now
This afternoon on a street in
it's almost 25 years, coming up soon, you know. 23, 22, some shit. I can't remember exactly. You know,
NPR's Windsor Johnston reports the
I feel it here, there, and everywhere.
military operation
Just like anybody else.
The White House says the latest weapons
So
package
even with
includes a
surgery.
mixture of systems already deployed to the fight, as well as new capabilities tailored
Have a nice
to
day.
wider assault that Russia is expected to launch in eastern Ukraine. In a statement, President Biden said the new capabilities include artillery systems and armored personnel carriers, as well as the transfer of additional helicopters. NPR's Windsor Johnston. Companies have started to report earnings for the first quarter. NPR's David Gurrow reports they've had to deal with high inflation and Russia's invasion of Ukraine in the first 3 months of the year.
JP Morgan Chase, the biggest bank on Wall Street, says its profit dropped by 42% from a year ago. All companies, including banks, have been dealing with what JP Morgan's CEO calls global turmoil, and Jamie Dimon says it's likely to continue.
Whoa.
Dimon says he sees significant geopolitical and economic challenges ahead.
Wow,
High
just dropped their
inflation,
badge.
Supply chain issues, and the war in Ukraine.
What is
JP
with
Morgan
these
has
people?
maintained its ties to Russia, and it's also preparing for the risk of a potential recession as the Federal Reserve gears up to hike interest rates aggressively to fight inflation. Several other big banks report earnings on Thursday, including Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs. David Gurrow,
Alright,
NPR
this
News,
sucks.
New York.
This really sucks, guys. I don't want to bring an umbrella, and I don't think I'm gonna.
And you're listening to it on
I don't know. Not bad.
WDET. That's Detroit's NPR station. I'm Eli Newman, in for Ross McNamara. The USDA has announced it will reinstate funding for a Michigan water quality program to reduce erosion and farm runoff. 6 years ago, Michigan's Conservative Reserve Enhancement Program was suspended due to lack of funding. Since that time, more than 56,000 acres of enrolled land was not maintained. John Switzer is a conservation manager in the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. He says the goal of the program is to reduce phosphorus entering the western Michigan by 40%.
This is how we do it.
Will be provided with conservation tools, and the state will pay an annual soil rental rate for the land they agree to conserve. Lansing is getting over $49 million in federal relief funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. Now, as Sarah Lear reports, City Council is debating how best to spend the massive cash infusion.
Mayor Andy Shore says he consulted with community groups like United Way and the Lansing NAACP before unveiling his spending proposal, which spans the next 2 fiscal years.
Putting sizable dollars for equity is really important.
The plan, which needs City Council's approval, would expand grants and other
I agree,
assistance
Jesse. I
programs aimed at
agree.
boosting the arts and neighborhood groups, as
I
well
totally
as small and
agree.
minority-owned businesses. There's also more than
We
$3
got-
million for recreational improvements like new pickleball courts at Clifford Park and upgrades
Yep.
to Hunter Park Pool. Lansing got its first installment from the American Rescue Plan, worth nearly
Yep. Somebody asked how many people does it take? We'll start counting.
The second half is
Because it's
expected
like they're all just about going through this gate, you know, except for the people in the paint department. Well, then we have a whole nother crew in that Rev building.
I live in
Yup.
Orlando. They're stopping road traffic from I-96 Porter Street onwards. Also an accident on Southfield Freeway southbound Grand River Avenue. Taking a look at the area forecast today, mostly cloudy with showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening, heading into tonight and early tomorrow morning, where there will be a wind advisory, with gusts expected to be as high as 36 miles per hour. Right now in Detroit, 65 degrees.
Support for NPR comes from this station.
I don't know if I was sticking out too much or what, or if that car is just that goddamn small. Oh, about 10 more minutes, guys, I guess. Got an hour in. An hour worth of traffic. But yeah, in the far distance, you see those two bay doors that are open in the middle there. Well, and there's actually 4 doors. You can see the fourth one on the right. The one on the left is behind that structure holding up the tunnel. But that's the electric truck plant. Yep, they took our parking lot. We still haven't seen really what for.
Spending hours, some even days, waiting to enter the U.S.
And you see these ladies going in there with this hair. It's nothing but a health and safety hazard waiting to happen, you know, when their hair gets caught up in a nut runner. We call them a nut runner. You know, screw gun, nut runner,
and that it's causing very real
whatever
problems for businesses and consumers on both sides of the border. And protests are making the situation even worse. Texas Public Radio's Pablo joins us now from McAllen, Texas.
Here goes.
Thank you for having me.
Pablo, what does it look like right now at the border?
Well, local law enforcement has shut down all traffic lanes at the Reynosa Far.
Oh, he's on Twitch.
That handles most of the commercial traffic that comes into.
That means we all got to get Twitch now.
Hundreds of semi-trailer trucks queued on the Mexican side.
Go in there and be his friend in Twitch.
Are actually refilling those trucks with diesel continuously.
Reverse troll them.
On those trucks on and save as much product as possible.
Look at all these people.
Truckers on the Mexican side have started a blockade in protest of these inspections that.
I'm not gonna wait. I'm about to head in, guys.
Worse. Santos Alvarado is
yeah, man. Finish packing my stuff. I gotta finish putting my stuff in my bag. Okay, I'm done. My sweatshirt on. Yep. But
inspections are terminated completely in the United States.
Well, that's good. I don't have Twitch, but I may have to get it now.
Governor Greg Abbott announced in a press conference earlier today that
Yep. Yeah, so I have to do her hair for pictures one day, guys. This is I don't know. It's gonna be fun.
Okay, so the government
too much fun.
These additional inspections at one border crossing. How is that going to change the situation at the border?
Well, Nuevo Leon shares only.
I mean, should I give her an 80s hairstyle and just break out the hairspray and start, you know, teasing it and make it go 10 different, you know.
Does Mexico intend to reroute?
What do you think of that one? That would be great.
From Tamaulipas, maybe from Laredo, which is.
But till the time comes, guys.
Truck port in America carrying out of
I tried to send the message, but you have to have the app. Gotcha, the app. Gotta get the app, folks.
Okay. Now, critics say this decision by Governor Abbott to inspect
Alright. Well, that's why that lady was looking at me weird, because I was driving that both ways. This ain't body shop, so whatever. Wow, look at all these people now. They're coming out of the woodwork.
They've all issued press releases saying that this is unnecessary and it's being caused by the Texas Department of Public Safety at the order of Abbott. Even some Republicans in Texas have criticized Abbott for saying, for doing this, saying it's hurting business, it's hurting consumers. And on the Mexican government side, they've been relatively.
And I can't believe I got this one single spot, guys. It happened to be perfect.
Abbott on this issue, they haven't yet to criticize the governor publicly on it.
Okay. Texas Public Radio's Pablo De La Rosa, reporting from McAllen, Texas, and the Rio Grande Valley. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a moment now to look at the state of the Native American economy. A new series running on the
I didn't know they had their own economy.
Found that tribal businesses and governments are often the largest economic contributors in their regions.
Well, thank you, Twin Thang. Thank you.
Areas from
I appreciate that. And with 20 minutes to go and a walk, and I got to hit the bathroom and all of that. Thank you again, Twin Thang. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Catch you guys later. Coachisms is hoping I get what's called the 3-9, guys. If I do, I'll be live again real soon. You'll see what I mean. Later, dudes.
Can you just tell us what would we find if we did indeed type that into Google?
Well, there are more than 500 tribes in